All hospitals in Nigeria are to encourage women to breastfeed. It's part of a new initiative launched by the government as part of World Breastfeeding Week. Bunariman Fentola reports.
It's official. Breastfeeding is beneficial. And not just for babies, but mothers too. Exclusively breastfeeding a child until they are 6 months old helps with growth, development, and reduces the chance of illness. For mothers, breastfeeding can help prevent breast cancer and in some cases can reduce the chance of pregnancy. In Nigeria, 27% of children are exclusively breastfed. But now, the government is trying to increase that figure by implementing new guidelines for hospitals.
It will not only help in improving our breastfeeding indices, but also contribute significantly to the reduction of malnutrition.
But there are still calls for the government to do more.
There is need to further demonstrate commitment and share responsibility towards improving breastfeeding among all stakeholders: government, donors, civil societies, groups, and private sector, even including the mothers and the community as a whole.
We are using this opportunity to encourage other state governors to also create an enabling environment, put policies in place that will encourage 6 months exclusive breastfeeding for lactating mothers.
These mothers say they know breastfeeding is beneficial to the health of their babies, but it comes with its own challenges.
Similarly, I had my baby, I think around 25 minutes, I put her to breast. Even though I had breastfeeding challenges, I had cracked nipples, but the fact that I had it in mind, so I was able to overcome that challenge of breast cracking.
Breastfeeding is very important and is the first thing that the baby takes as soon as the baby is born. It contains what we call immunoglobulins that actually help to fight infection, and so we say breast milk is actually the very first immunization that the baby receives.
Drawbacks aside, the benefits of breastfeeding are clear. And with this plan, the government is aiming to ensure half of all babies are fed this way, giving them the best start in life. Punarman Fentola, Rise News.
Well, Ngozi was saying a while ago that those babies were in heaven. Well, let's bring in NEMAT HAJEEBHOY, Chief in charge of Nutrition, United Nations Children's Fund, to discuss World Breastfeeding Week that starts 1st and ends 7th of this month, August.
Indeed.
Well, good to have you, by the way, NEMAT. This week, the week aims to highlight the huge benefits that it can deliver to the health and the welfare of babies, as well as a push for their mothers as well. Are these benefits being achieved? What are the major hindrances or challenges, if you like? And do the mothers have the enabling environment, or are some mothers just ignorant or couldn't care at all about the benefits?
No, I think if you ask any mother, including our lovely host here tonight, she will say it's heaven and it's wonderful to breastfeed. So I wouldn't say mothers are ignorant. However, as I tell people, to exclusively breastfeed a child, which means only giving breast milk for the first 6 months, it means, I know you're good at...
I did for my children.
Right.
I told my wife 6 months first.
6 months.
No
water.
I was actually staying in the house at the time. I didn't have a job. So she was going to work and she was pressing out the breast milk, my story, and I was expressing it, and I was giving it to my baby. Sometimes they cry, it was painful, but I had to do it.
And I can already hear someone say there, okay, well, it's only jobless men that can assist in that way.
No,
great.
It's not true, and
so
that's where this year's World Breastfeeding Week topic is also saying it's a shared responsibility. It's not just the responsibility of the mother, but of each of us here, as a spouse, as a sister, as a mother, as an employer. Each of us needs to support that mother and child to get the best in life in the first 6 months. So as I said, if you take 6 months, you're talking about 180 days. If I have to breastfeed my child for 180 days, at least 10 to 12 times a day, it means I have 1,800 decision-making points. Should I breastfeed or should I go to work? Should I breastfeed or should I just give my child something else? Should I breastfeed or, the baby is crying, let me just leave the child with someone else and take a break. So imagine that if you had to do something 10 times a day, every day for half an hour at least, no break.
Whoa.
How would you feel?
It might be tasking.
Very tasking.
It's tasking.
That's why I talked about the enabling environment.
But is it worth it at the end of the day when you consider the benefits, which would like you to talk about?
Sure.
What exactly is the difference between breast milk and baby formula?
Okay.
I recall telling my daughter-in-law, you know, when she had the first baby, I said, look, it's expensive, going the way of baby formula.
Absolutely.
And she was like,
but it's convenient.
By the time she had the second one, nobody needed to tell her that it was cheaper to breastfeed.
Right.
Cheaper and better, so to
And
say.
cheaper
And better. I would say actually on the cheaper part, I have a slightly different opinion because it's a lot of time on the mother.
Yeah.
And she has to, there's an opportunity cost, right? But if we look at the benefits of breastfeeding, breastfed children are healthier. It confers immunity. I just said this morning, it's our first vaccine in life. You know, in this day and age,
That's what you call the colostrum.
the colostrum is called the first vaccine. And, you know, today we're talking about vaccines, right? I think there was a news bit on COVID earlier today. So vaccines are essential. And I asked people today, if I developed a vaccine that could be administered safely, no cold chain at all, and it conferred a benefit not just for the person receiving it, but also for the giving person, wouldn't I win a Nobel Prize?
Talk to us about the benefit to the breastfeeding mother. Because a lot of women today would tell you, no, because things would go south, you know, you understand my point and all of that. What's the benefits to the breastfeeding mother?
I would say there's a couple benefits to the mother. First, the whole act of breastfeeding also releases hormones that actually help her to be happy. So you know, when after giving birth, which is difficult, you always have postpartum depression. So the hormones released by breastfeeding help you to overcome that and go forward. Second, when you breastfeed, you have lifelong benefits on certain types of cancer, such as breast cancer and ovarian cancer. So there's a huge protective effect for mothers from that. There are other benefits to the mother that are conferred that are hard to kind of quantify in layman's terms. But, you know, the nurturing act of that mother and the child together, the bonding is absolutely amazing and is absolutely essential.
All right, let me ask you this. How long should a child be breastfed? Something 2 years, some said 2 years now.
Yes.
And then what happens?
I was breastfed for 2 years.
Yeah.
Excellent. You need to be both of you are champions.
Thank you. Now, what happens in cases where you are delivered? I mean, a woman is delivered of preterm babies, and so are unable to breastfeed due to temporary prematurity and stress of having a preterm. What happens? And then the question of how long.
Right. So if a child is born preterm, if a child is also born low birth weight, sometimes a child is born sick, or sometimes the mother herself is sick. There are many instances in which a mother initially may not be able to breastfeed. Also there's stress, you know, there's all this pressure to breastfeed. In that case, the best thing a support person, whether it's a doctor, a nurse, a family member can do is to work with the mother to relax. If you are relaxed, you will have a letdown reflex. If the child is put to the breast and suckles, there will be the letdown reflex. So even if a child is born a little early, depends on how early, mothers can lactate. There are many women who will tell you that even during the last few days of pregnancy, they can feel, you know, breast milk filling up and breast milk coming out. The second thing we can do for mums is oftentimes you have expressed milk and human milk banks and donor milk that you can give the child, including colostrum. It is safe. It is extremely effective, and it is much, much better than providing a child artificial milk. You asked me this question earlier. I always ask people, do we see in nature an elephant's baby going and having milk from a lion, or a giraffe's baby going and having milk from another mammal?
I can tell you no for free.
Right?
So nature anyway is always the best.
So we are mammals, and yet we believe we're intelligent mammals, but we feel that cow's milk is superior to our own mother.
Okay, now I would like you to then address the issue of marketing, the International Code of Marketing.
Yes.
What exactly is UNICEF or United Nations, WHO, doing about that? Because women are bombarded with this very, very attractive adverts that make it look like
it's the best
you know,
thing.
it's the best thing.
Right. So I'll just go back a little bit to say, you've heard of the Convention on the Rights of the Child. This convention recognizes the right of the child to good education, etc., etc. So Article 24 recognizes that nutrition and breastfeeding and breast milk in particular are so essential that it is important for everybody to be educated about it and for mothers to receive support. So that's the enabling environment. So as the UN and as UNICEF, we believe in the right of every child to be breastfed. And there is the convention that supports it.
All right.
Now, when it comes to the code of marketing, the international code was therefore developed to provide that support to mothers. And what the code says is that you cannot inappropriately market what are called breast milk substitutes to mothers, caregivers, health workers, and others for children under the age of 24 months at least. So to answer your earlier question also, we say mothers need to breastfeed early, that is within an hour, exclusively, that is only breast milk up to 6 months, and then start to give other foods along with continuing to breastfeed up to 24 months.
Let me just drop this question. It's just a very short question. What do fathers do within this period? Because some fathers are watching and are wondering, do I need to still suck the breast, or don't I need to give way and let the baby have it all?
So you were a father and you said you supported your wife.
It's been long, so I can't remember what happened during that period. But let's say what you have to say about that.
Yes, so I think fathers can be extremely supportive. You know, today there was a lot of discussion between which fathers had tasted some of the breast milk and the flavors of breast milk. But the most important thing is for the mother to relax and to be in a state that she can adequately breastfeed her child, as well as be able to manage her other duties, tasks, careers, whatever she wants to do. So I would say this is a conversation that happens between a husband and wife, but support to the mother is essential.
Very important. Thank you so much, NEMAT HAJEEBHOY. Thank you so much for joining us.
Always good to have you.
Thank you.